thank you very much for your kind introduction. So, I would like to present our story since 2017 regarding ECMR, regarding the future European marketplace, and also a number of issues related to the current situation, because in 2017, when we started the Cogistic project and to implement ECMR service as a cooperative service at that time, we thought, let's be prepared for the worst case scenario. So, and we included in our marketplace that it was developed in our EULIX project, so I will give you a short presentation. Rerouting, we included disruption of the network, so disruption of nodes, disruption of arcs, disruption of regions, and also disruption at the global level. So we started to think at this type of services since 2017. And now you know the situation. So I already gave this introduction. So when we developed the ECMR, the first ECMR service, together with IOU in Europe in 2017, at that time we thought, okay, we developed, we implemented, we tested in 5 countries. But in order to have a pan-European approach, we need to develop a marketplace. And then we proposed EULIX project at that time, so it was in 2018. First of all, to try to assure an end-to-end supply chain visibility for the services, for logistics providers, for any logistic stakeholders. In the same time, to optimize. So today, have you heard during the first session, those ministries from Baltic countries and Poland, we need digitalization, we need automation. Okay, from the technical standpoint of view, together with our European partners, which are working since 2017, we are ready to deploy this type of technology now. And of course, regarding the data exchange and the cross-border, so it's very important now, and we've seen one of the, I think, the deputy ministry from Ukraine presented these aspects. And we'll try to give a technical answer, so a technical solution to all those challenges. Because always when there are these type of challenges, of course, for many people, these new challenges will bring new opportunities, new business opportunities. And have you heard about Thessaloniki, Trieste, Duisburg, Far East? Okay, we already implemented pilot site with all these regions, with all these cities, with all these ports in Europe. And I will show you in a couple of slides before. Just only a summary of this solution. So basically, the EULIX marketplace is based on a publish and subscription pattern. So the IT colleagues know very well about this. What is very important, the security, so authentication and accreditation. Maybe at the end of this meeting, you will ask me, did you test or implemented the blockchain solution? Yes, we already tested, and I will give you more details. What is very important, of course, ECMR is on the first place, so paperless. Why? Because, as you know, in many countries, there are local regulations to keep all documents for any shipment between 5 and 7 years. Please imagine for a large country to keep millions and millions of kilograms of papers for 5 or 7 years, instead to keep everything on a DVD. I had this discussion in Geneva when UNECE organized last year and also this year an ECMR week with about 200 representatives of the transport ministries. And many of them complained, look, if you are doing business with Europe, so there are companies from Turkey, we should keep in our archive millions and millions of tons of papers. And at the same time, if we don't implement this digital approach, so we propose a full digital twin implementation approach, for us, it costs a lot of money and also from environmental standpoint of view to keep so many tons of papers. So CO2, for environmental standpoint of view, we implemented since 2017 a CO2 monitoring system because, have you heard, many people are talking about how to capture CO2, but not too many are talking about how to measure CO2. Together with one of our German partners, TIF System, so it's a subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom, we developed a number of 5 use cases since 2017, and those 5 use cases, so to use nomad devices for any type of vehicle, so to measure CO2, NOx, and also unborn particles. This year, so we applied for a standard in 2017 for European standard, but ISO organization decided this year in May that what we proposed, it's a gap on the market, and they decided that this standard should be a worldwide standard, and it's a ISO standard. For those which are interested, I can provide all details. So it's how to measure CO2 using nomadic devices for any type of vehicle. So this is the name of the standard. Okay. Just only to have an overview, so basically the marketplace that we proposed has 3 main components, so EULIX connectivity engine, and I will give you also an overview of the high-level architecture, responsible, of course, for connectivity, interoperability, and also the data exchange. EULIX toolkit, the second component, so for instance, now we are talking about a number of service providers, but in the future, of course, will be new service providers. Therefore, we thought, to our future, to prepare some kind of toolkit for the future potential service provider in order to be able to connect to the marketplace. And as you know, almost 90% of all transport and logistic companies, they have less than 10 trucks. They don't have IT departments. They don't have IT people. For those companies, we'll also develop a so-called dashboard, intelligent dashboard, just only to configure a web application for them. And then for them, it will be very easy to use the services and the resources from the marketplace. Just only to have this type of high-level architecture view. So for those IT colleagues which are interested to know how we did it. And then, now I'm getting back to the ECMR service. So, and all this type of, let's say, services related to documents. First of all, of course, you know okay. At the moment, you know very well they are used this type of documents, so old-fashioned documents. So according to Geneva Convention, my previous speakers already presented some details. So at the moment they are used all kind of shipment. They are using these physical documents. And of course, when we have such a crisis situation, like let's say between Ukrainian and the Polish border, Ukrainian border, and the Baltic state borders, have you seen the 52 kilometers of queue at the border? Okay, so what is the solution? Just a moment. Okay, so just only to see. For us, it's very important when we prepare the user requirements, we should have real-time information. This information should be available in the cloud solution. And of course, all these type of documents could be also possible to be, let's say, used as attachment in the system. But the interface, you'll have the information in real time, and the same kind of information, and I'll explain why, should be available. Of course, for the customs, this is very important because all these documents should be available with all details. Which kind of details? Of course, the idea is to include also, when I'm talking about track and trace, when I'm talking about this type of details, we should also include a map with all this type of details. So arrival times, signature, all this departure time, and so on and so on. And in the same time, of course, all this should be linked to a map in real time. If we'll implement this type of solution, of course, everything gets moved to the digital world, so it's part of the digital twin. It's also possible to implement any kind of IT solution, so IoT system integration, to have and to include different type of information related to traffic. If you are in the city, you know the system Glossa to integrate traffic lines in real time linked to the traffic management system. If you are talking about ports and ports area and hinterland area, so before this meeting I had a discussion with some colleagues from Germany, from the Hamburg area, where we implemented this project in Germany. All kind of information in real time, so related to cities, to traffic, to ports, related to the terminal, so where a truck should arrive, and so on and so on. So all this type of information can be also integrated, and also so this is the structure of the data. So any kind of data can be used. So you can be integrated with different APIs. For instance, for tracks, it's important, to plan in advance their journey and to take the right break. So after a number of hours, according to the EU regulation, they use tachograph, so on and so on. So they should plan in advance the parking lots. They should implement this type of, let's say, information, and they should consider when they would plan their journey. So in which way we did it? So with red color is the, let's say, the paper document. So basically we implemented for each kind of, let's say, requirements an object, data object classes. Okay, so we have the expedition, so the consignor, consigne, all this stuff. So those people which, let's say, are familiar with the logistics should know about this. And then, of course, who is the carrier for these goods, okay? And then a description of these goods, and also behind of this, it's a link with all documents in the digital format and the system. So basically, when a custom would like to check the content, everything is done automatically. They will see all these details, and then if they would like to move further to see all details, they will have also all documents attached. And also everything can be signed in the digital format, so all this signature can be done electronically in the system. So what is the difference? Of course, before everything, it's we don't consider those disadvantages, queue at the border and so on and so on. So, but just only to see the difference. So before, to implement ECMR as a service in the system, and after the implementation, you see the difference. So basically, all these checks are done automatically. Instead to present papers, the custom can check in the system, and based on the number plates recognition and the pattern recognition of that specific track, will identify and will not stay at the border. So basically, we'll have this approach. And please imagine when we did the first project regarding ECMR and without ECMR service, one day delay for a track, it's 1,000 euro. Okay, so please imagine if a truck will stay 2 weeks at the border, the level of cost. So regarding let's say the devices, which kind of devices? So basically the service can be, it's implemented using any kind of devices. So started with iPhones, tablets, web services. So any kind of digital solution it's possible to be implemented. Of course, when we start our first test with ECMR, we started in Italy, between Italy and Germany and from Hamburg, from Trieste to Hamburg. Of course, we started with 10 tracks in 2018. And at that time, of course, the drivers didn't want to use the tablet that we provided to them, because there are a number of steps that they should fill in. And then we replaced the tablet with an iPhone. And that we said, if everything is going well, you keep the iPhone for free. And then all drivers cooperated with us a lot. And then, of course, we've seen, at the end of the day, they've seen the importance of this new kind of service, not only for them, but also for their manager and for the truck companies. So just only to summarize about the ECMR. Today, everything is done on the paper, but if in Europe, at the moment, one more idea. So in EULIX, we tested ECMR in 8 countries together with IRU. To do these pilot projects, other 24 countries, so at the moment 32 countries adopted the ECMR approach. Now it's time to implement, because have you heard? European Commission, European Parliament voted that by the end of 2025 should be implemented ECMR. From the technical standpoint of view, we are ready to implement in 1 year time. So before 2024, not before 2025. But of course, political decision, it's very important, and this should be made in the near future. We also integrated all kinds of transportation means, from air cargo, for maritime, linear waterways, barges, railway, and freight transport. So basically, when I will present my next slides, the main advantages are called for shipper, carrier, and customer, so they're straightforward. So I don't want to insist. So we developed the marketplace. We have the ACMR service together with estimated time of arrival, together with CO2 monitoring, control tower, and other services. And then the idea it was, of course, on the market there are a number of platforms. So maritime single windows, IWT, so inland waterways, plus other platforms from the IATA, from the air cargo. And then the solution for us that we proposed in Fenix project is to build a federation of platforms. So, and of course, from a political standpoint of view, so DG Move set up an expert group, so DTLF, Digital Transport Forum, subgroup number 2, which is dealing with corridor information system, with all these type of new kind of services. And the idea for us, and you will see in the next coming slides, more details, to build a federative network of platforms, of course, not only to enable business to business, business to administration, but also business to business. So it's very important to assure the data exchange and also the cross-border. So at the moment, we are testing in 9 countries this large project in 11 pilot sites. Okay, so we cover all 9 TEN-T corridors and 4 motorways the fee. On top of that, I already mentioned, okay, so in the previous session this morning, you have heard about Thessaloniki, Trieste, Baltic states, another country, okay, Far East. So we already implemented pilot site between China and Piraeus in Greece. Piraeus, China, Far West China, and Thessaloniki. From Thessaloniki to Trieste, Trieste to Duisburg, Duisburg to Baltic States, Baltic States to Göteborg and Malmö. So we already implemented corridor information system. We already implemented in the digital world a number of services which are now available for all transport companies and logistic companies which are interested. So just only to have an overview, so we have pilot site implemented in Austria, so basically it's a railway. In Belgium there are 2 important pilot sites. One is air cargo link to Italian Milan Malpensa airport, so to demonstrate the air cargo approach and to integrate in such a system. The second important Belgian pilot, it's with Procter & Gamble. So Procter & Gamble, they have a worldwide coverage. Other important pilot with worldwide coverage, it's Mondelez. So the control tower is in Slovakia, but they cover all TEN-T corridors and they have worldwide coverage. In Germany, we have the Rhine-Alpine corridor. So in this corridor covers 5 countries with 22 partners, so all transportation means are linked, so started from the south until Hamburg. I already presented the Greek pilot site, of course, linked to Trieste and also to south of Europe. Trieste, 5 years ago, when we implemented the first project with them, they had huge bottlenecks with Turkish trucks, so they had a similar solution. They had a similar situation and a similar challenge that is now between Ukrainian and Baltic borders. Baltic States borders and Ukrainian and Polish borders. At that time, they had trucks that they spent 10 days, between 5 and 10 days in the queue. When they implemented the system, now there are 3 trucks in the queue. Okay, so everything it was optimized, and they don't have this situation. Regarding let's say the transport application approaches, so we implement different services related to multimodal and synchromodality. All these activities, of course, we develop solution for intelligent hubs and also the network optimization. So I already started my presentation with these, let's say, ideas regarding the disruption at the network level, node level, arc level. Okay, and we started to think since 2017. So regarding a number of technical aspects regarding the Fenix Federation of Platforms, of course, I will give you just only some hints. It's a very large project and with more than 100 partners. So just only to have an idea. How it was done, this, let's say the design of this federation, of course, first of all, for us, it was very important to have a full decentralized level, to build a new kind of ecosystem of data and services, and the trust and data sovereignty, other two important requirements. So this just only to have an idea. Okay, so this is before, just a moment, because I added some animation. So how it was implemented in practice. So it was needed to develop a certain type of connector in order to make all these platforms able to talk to each other. So here I included a number of platforms. So I included IOLX Marketplace, the first example that I provided in my presentation. Then we included, again, as example, the platform from the port of Trieste, because many ports from the Baltic countries are also interested to join this framework. Maybe my previous speaker, we can talk afterwards to see how we can move on with the next, with the follow-up of this project, which will be Fenix 2.0. And I will give you at the end more details. Other platforms, so big logistic players in Europe, Jan de Rijk from Netherlands. Then I already told you about Mondelez. They have all-wide coverage. Procter & Gamble. Then TIF Logistic together with Deutsche Bahn Schenker and Deutsche Bahn in Germany. Then for the air cargo, Logit One, and then other kind of platform. Just only to have an idea, but in this federation can be let's say, any kind of platform integrated. So we identify in Europe about 124 platforms, which can be integrated in this future federation and will be part of this future ecosystem. So at the moment, until next March, until next year, March, will be 24 platforms integrated. And the demonstration will be on the 8th of February in Brussels at Procter & Gamble. So the location for the demonstration. If you are interested more, please contact me. So I already presented that first step is decentralization. So it doesn't exist a master platform and a slave platform in the system. So all platforms, they have the same right and duties. A new kind of data and service. So, and I'm thinking to use logistic as a mindset for this type of ecosystem. And data sovereignty, cybersecurity are extremely important because there are a number of data providers working with us. And the first question before to start any business with them, it was, okay, how I will be sure that the data are used for the right purpose. So, one step further regarding this federation, the technical approach. So, of course, we already considered all aspects and user requirements regarding the strategic level. At the tactical level, regarding the model, the data governance model and the regulation. And also regarding the technical aspects, how are integrated different solutions in any platform which is part of the federation. An overview of the connector, so, and how it was built, this federation. So it's very important to have a federated identity registry, to know which kind of platforms, which kind of services, which kind of users are part of this ecosystem. And if we like to join this ecosystem, of course, we also made available a number of federation use cases in order to identify, before to be a member, you be certified, and then as soon as you are certified, then you have access of all resources. And then which kind of, let's say, resources are available on the platform from each platforms, which kind of services, how, for instance, you would like to have a contract with an owner of a service provider from one platform, and as soon as you'll be able to identify and to have this internal contract signed, then you can have access of all resources regarding those services. So services, not only a CMR, but also estimated time of arrival, rerouting, CO2 monitoring, and many. I think at the moment there are already implemented 15 services for transport and logistics. So I think the top 15, according to our survey that we did in 2017, we have implemented. Just to have more details how it was done. So regarding the catalog of resources at the federation level, so which kind of classes, regarding the broker metadata, the Fenix resources, Fenix data, and so on, just only to have an idea how, for instance, it works. So if I am member of a platform number E and I need a service from platform number B, how it works, this approach. So via the brokers, have you seen in one of my first slide regarding the Fenix Federation, so how this it works. So just only to have an idea especially for the IT colleagues. And this is my last slide. When I'm talking about a large ecosystem, so Fenix is Federation of Platforms, the trust is very important, because if we involve data providers, they don't want to work with an ecosystem which doesn't assure the trust, doesn't provide the right security, doesn't provide the right cyber security. Several times I already explained about the new ecosystem of data, so logistic as a mindset. I think this is very important and will play a crucial role in the future. Decentralization, I already presented. Interoperability, because when we are talking about cross-border, we are talking about to integrate so many type of platforms, so many type of services, so it's very important for the scalability to have the right interoperability. Any standard will play an important role, because we implemented, I think we are complying with more than 20 standards. So I gave that example with CO2, CO2 monitoring, which is based on our work from our previous projects. New kind of value-adding services, value-adding apps, of course, not only for data processing, but also for data exchange format and, of course, for data format alignment. Because, if a partner, for instance, they have all data in XML format, other partner in JSON format, other partner maybe, I don't know which kind of format, then it's very important to try to harmonize and to have at the platform level this type of harmonization. And then, of course, within the federation, you have available the data format alignment as a service. A new kind of data market, because innovation, have you seen, if there are so many challenges, of course, innovation is the answer. Because innovation will bring solutions, innovation will solve the problem. So data-driven services, to be able to make use of new apps as part of this future European single digital market. And last but not least, you know about the physical internet concept, which we started to develop this concept a couple of years ago together with ALICE. So ALICE is a European alliance of logistics in Europe. So the idea for us as a Fenix Federation is to assure that the future backbone, so the future ICT infrastructure, in order to support this operation. Why? Because if we are talking about these CO2 targets, 2040, 2015, 2050, and so on, if you don't have a new kind of ecosystem in place, we will not be able to achieve these targets. And based on our knowledge so far, I think that this concept, physical internet approach, using, of course, all this stuff related to the services, integration, federation, the data-driven service, and so on, will play a major role in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Dr. I think in Lithuanian it's labai ačiū.
Yes.
Thank you very much.